Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 92 of the San Marino Challenge. Now, today's episode, as you can tell from the title, is going to be against Leon. Pretty big group stage game. At the moment, we're currently sitting in third place, and they're in first. So, we've only played, 2 games, I think? 3 games. Yeah, we played 3 games. And the results haven't been too great. We haven't. I may as well show you the group now. But we haven't actually lost. However, we have drawn against both Zagreb and Leon while we managed to defeat Celtic. So the Champions League group isn't looking too great at the moment. In terms of the league table, I'm not sure if we've gotten worse or if other teams have gotten better this season. But that's sort of what it seems to be. Juventus, they've only just suffered their first loss. They were undefeated in the first 10 games, I believe. So they're kind of sitting back on top. And then behind them, we have Inter and Atalanta. Atalanta have really turned themselves into a pretty decent club. They, of course, finished last season in second place. And now they're starting to sort of maintain that, that top, the top of the table dominance behind ourselves. Of course, we are by far the most dominant club. But yeah, our form hasn't been too great. We've only lost the 1 game, but as you can see, we've had 3 draws in there as well. A little bit disappointing, albeit the draws have been against better teams compared to the end of last season when we were losing and drawing to teams that we should have been beating, to be honest. Anyway, let's go over the fixtures here. First of all, of course, the previous episode was the 2-0 victory over Udinese. We followed that up with a pretty disappointing 0-0 draw against Catanzaro. Basically, none of our attacking players could really find any sort of foothold in the game. And we just couldn't put away our chances, to be honest. And I guess we got punished for missing our chances, albeit it was only a draw. Now, the next game was a 1-0 away loss against Juventus, being our only loss of the season so far. And I mean, to be fair, we didn't actually deserve to lose this game. As you can see, we absolutely dominated them. All 4 members of their back line got over a 7.2 or over. Goalkeeper got a 7.2 there as well. They had 2 shots on target, scored 1 of the goals. Typical FM. We had 10 shots on target, couldn't even score a goal. Again, I can blame the strikers, I can blame Albani. But, it's kind of a BS result, if I'm being honest. Anyway, we followed that up with a victory, turning things around, a 1-0 victory over Empoli, with Fermato picking up the only goal of the game. We then absolutely smashed Celtic 5-0 at home. Pew opened the scoring. We then had Fermato with a hat-trick, and finally Brambati on the score sheet. We then managed to beat Spal 4-0, with 4 different goal scorers as well. Rowells, Fermato, Brambati, and Miele on the score sheet for that one. Managed a 2-0 away victory against Fiorentina with Fermato and Brambati on the score sheet there. And then came the really worst result we've had so far, I would say. Even more disappointing than the Juventus loss, I would say, is this 0-0 draw against Dinamo Zagreb. Albeit it was away from home, but Zagreb are probably they're above and beyond the worst side in the group currently. And when we beat Celtic 5-0, I'm expecting to beat these guys. As you can see, once again, similar sort of thing. None of our players could find the back of the net. 6 shots on target, no goals. And I mean, Zagreb literally had nothing. No shots on target. Should not be drawing that game at all. It's a really poor result, to be honest. We did bounce back in the next game, however, with a 3-0 victory over Bologna. Rossi, the 16-year-old striker from last year's intake, He had to step up due to an injury to both Pugh and Albani. Of course, with the sale of Champlat, it left us a little bit short. But the reasoning behind selling him was if those two strikers in the first team were to get injured, we have Rossi. Comes into the starting lineup, scores a goal on debut, and then we also had Novi and Cervellini on the score sheet there as well. We then could only manage a 2-2 draw against Lyon away from home. And I mean, it's another one of those games. It really is. As you can see, Formato opened the scoring in the 8th minute. They got one back through Nielsen in the 19th. Just before halftime, Brambati put us 2-1 up. And then in the 92nd minute, Henry Lessange gets the equaliser. 2-2, shared points once again. And if we have a look at the shots, a little bit more even this time. And again, Albani picking up another injury. But as you can see, we had double the amount of shots on target. And yeah, they managed to get the equaliser so late in the 92nd minute. The next game was a 1-1 draw against Inter. They're looking a lot better this season, which is, in a way, it's a good thing because I want the league to be more competitive. We've won it 6 times in a row. And albeit it did become a bit of a joke to me. Going invincible, almost going invincible again last season before we absolutely choked it. But yeah, we didn't choke the league. We won the league, but choked being invincible. Yeah, Formato with a penalty, and then Paulo Marcelo, the Brazilian striker, scored many goals against us throughout the series. Chips in with one to share the points against Inter. Then we versed Sampdoria, and this game was a pretty interesting one because we were actually 3-0 down. And I could not believe my eyes. 3 shots on target at the time and 3 goals. And I mean, this guy, Mohamed Otu, he's really not that good. He's pretty dreadful. And he scored 2 goals in the first 13 minutes. Luckily, the boys sort of switched on, and then Rolls got one back for us in the 29th minute. Second half, we came out firing, managed to score 2 more goals. Mazzari and Miele on the score sheet there. But I have to big up Mazzari. He was the one that really just kick-fired things back into our favour. And I've been super impressed with him, actually. Yeah, he's been a pretty integral part of the team so far this season. Sort of keeping Miele out of the team due to the injury that he sustained at the start. So it's an interesting one. We'll see how he continues to play. And the most recent game was a 2-0 victory over Napoli at home. Andy Adam, bit of a rotated side coming in here as well. He managed to get both goals, and they also had a player sent off. And they're not really doing too well this season either. So, yeah. They're down in 9th place, along with AC Milan. Still early days. We're only, 10 games in? Anyway, let's get into today's lineup. It's going to be a pretty much full-strength side out there today. As you can see, Ingvarsen's going to start in goals. Brambati at right back. Cervellini and Sabir as the 2 centre-backs. Michelotti will be the left back today. And then we're going to go with Novi as the defensive midfielder. And then Mazzari and Viviani will start as the centre mids. Rolls will be on the right wing. Formato on the left wing. Albani up front. On the bench, we're going to go with Sogodogo, Schmatke, Zaffarani, Gortheron, Andy Adam, Rossen, and Pugh. And we can only have the 7-man bench. It's worth noting that both Albani and Pugh have come back from, not serious injuries, but they were out for about 4 or 5 weeks each. So, separate times, of course. Albani picked up his injury first. And then for about 2 weeks, Pugh was playing. Pugh picked up a 4-week injury. And then Albani came back from a 5-week injury. But there we go. We got the breakthrough already. 7 minutes in, Cervellini off the corner puts the ball in the back of the net. And that's a great start. We need to win this game. We really do. And with that goal, we're up into first. So that's how important this game actually is. Very serious stuff. Albani, thank God. That's his first goal. He's been playing so badly. I gave him the new contract. We sold Chanpalat. He's on like 215k per week or something. And he actually missed training due to being out, at a nightclub or something. Something weird. I got some weird message. Fined him 2 weeks' wages. And yeah, he's only just, after his injury, he's starting to come back and be sort of the player that he used to be. Before, similar to like an Ozil for Arsenal. He got his huge contract and then just absolutely, doesn't give a shit, to be honest. Anyway. Good first half. We're 2-0 up. Pretty happy with that. Did I miss the... No, that was the Albani goal. What am I talking about? But yeah, as you can see, Mazzari is on a 7.4. Assisted one of the goals as well. He is... For some reason, he's just playing really well. And as I say that, he literally gives the ball away. It's just so typical. Like, I love to jinx things. And we're gonna take rolls off, actually. As you can see, he's picked up a bit of a knock there. So we'll bring Rossen on. Rossen's actually picked up a couple of caps for the Dutch national team as well. Good to see. And at the end of the episode, I will try and remember to go over the Nations League group for the national team. We have actually played 4 games now in total. We've actually got another 2 games to play after this episode, so good stuff. We're doing pretty well. I'm really enjoying the international side of things, albeit we're still a little bit weak. Alrighty, let's make a sub. Let's bring Andy Adam on for Formato. And we'll bring Pew on as well for the last 15 minutes. What are we doing? Lessange in behind. Luckily misses his shot there. We are 2-0 up, but we have to be careful. Lessange is a pretty good player. And he sneaks a free kick in there. That's what I'm talking about. He's not too bad. I mean, it goes down as an own goal to Ingvarsen, but yeah, Lessange is a good player. I mean, a lot of Lyon's players are, high quality elite players. They've spent a lot of money. Anyway, we're breaking forward here. Pew in behind. Good save by their goalkeeper. But that should be full time after this corner. It's about 30 seconds left. It's cleared away. Michelotti will get to it. Sabir now. Ooh. That's a pretty nasty challenge on the back of Sabir there. Pew's pretty far out. Is he going to try it? Penalty? No. Cervellini picking up a foul there. Don't get a yellow card. Yeah, good. Alrighty. Well, that should be full time. There we go. 2-1 victory. That's an important win. That really is an important win. Cervellini, man of the match. And I'll tell the boys that it's a good win. It's an important win, like I said. Very important. We also get 2.4 mil. And Albani ends his goal drought, which is good to see. Alright, so before I forget, let's go over the national team side of things before we end the episode. Let's have a look at the... What am I doing? Alright, Nations League Group D. Or Group 1. Nations League D. It's very confusing. Anyway, we're in the lowest level, basically, of the Nations League. We're currently sitting in second position. Now, that is due to a loss that we suffered against Cyprus, which is a pretty annoying result. I'll show you here. We started the campaign with a 3-0 victory over Andorra. Michel Ugolini, who is our former player, of course, one of the 3 centre-backs, came up with a brace in that game. And Siachi as well, who is, he was formerly one of our players. Currently without a club, so hopefully he picks up one soon because they can retire. The next game is the Cyprus game that we lost. As you can see, they scored in the 85th minute, and they only had 2 shots on target the whole game. We were actually the better side. Their goalkeeper picked up Man of the Match award with a 7.3, and they scored in the 85th minute with their second shot on target. I tell you what, I was pretty pissed off after that one. That was a really, really frustrating result. Anyway, we then went into the next international break and could only manage a 0-0 draw against Armenia, albeit Siachi got sent off with a straight red card in the 7th minute. So it really put us on the back foot playing with 10 men, especially for that long. But as you can see, we didn't concede, and I think that's a pretty good result, despite the obvious, disadvantage that we suffered pretty early on. And then in the reverse game against Andorra, we managed to beat them 4-0, bettering our result, and this game was away from home, so a pretty decent result, albeit it is only Andorra. They're basically the equivalent of San Marino, but without me, so they're still trash. Goal scorers were Maiani, Stefanelli, Ugolini, and Micheloni. Some pretty consistent goal scorers there with, Nicola Ugolini is actually a centre mid, still at our club currently. He's, developing pretty nicely for a fairly average player, but, it is what it is. Maiani's a right winger who's not great at all, plays in the San Marinese league. And then, of course, Micheloni. I think he might be the leading goal scorer of all time at the moment. He's got 43 caps with 14 goals. He does take the penalties and the free kicks, as you can see. 19 free kick taking. It's a pretty good thing to have in your locker. Currently without a club, another player without a team. I'm really hoping that someone will pick him up. He hasn't actually had a club in 2 seasons. So that's got me a little bit worried. Obviously, don't want to lose him. He's essentially one of our best players. He does play the defensive midfielder role and plays it pretty well, to be honest, despite being fairly average. Well, below average, I would say. Anyways, that is the national team roundup. We've got a couple of games, as I mentioned, coming up real soon. And it will probably determine the group if we get promoted into the C League. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you could drop the video a like, it'd be much appreciated. Subscribe as well if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell, and that will keep you up to date with all these episodes coming out in the future. Apart from that, guys, take it easy, and goodbye.